There's an outrageous story that is bubbling up here. And if it is real, and I believe it is real because we have evidence from the last administration that is correct. This is why the transition is so important. This is why we've moved our entire operation down to Florida to try to help any way we can. The government is already voicing to the media that they will undermine Donald Trump if he were to make decisions that they do not like. According to CNN and MSNBC, CNN has a story that has not been independently verified by NBC News, which add that, quote, defense officials have held, quote, informal discussions about how the DOD would respond if Donald Trump issues orders to deploy active duty troops domestically and fire large swaths of apolitical staffers. The commander-in-chief has the right to fire anybody he wants in the federal government, let alone the Department of Defense. He is the commander-in-chief. He is the top of the United States military. It could not be more explicit. Now, many of you think we have three branches of government, but the fight now that we won the election, the fight in front of us is not just about winning elections. It's what is the form of government we are going to have. And we have two options. The first option is that we'll continue this super government of administrative unelected bureaucrats, or we will restore the form and the structure and the promise and the intent of the founding fathers. We have civilian control of the military for a reason. Blake is making some very, very good points here. I think we have Blake here. I want to have him chime in a second. Elected leaders run the military. You see, we do not have a military junta that runs the United States of America. We have a civilian control of the military. Why is that important? Well, in third world dictatorships, the military just controls the country because they have the weapons, they have the guns, they have the tanks, they have the drones, they have the missiles. So we're in charge, the military says. But no, the founders were so smart. They said, no, we can't just have a bunch of generals running the country because that's bad and they're not accountable to the people. So we put the people's representative, the president, in charge of the United States military. When defense staffers think that they have the right to ignore a president, that is mutiny, and it can only be responded by firing them immediately. These unelected staffers in the Pentagon, they did not win an election. They did not campaign and get elected by people, but they want the people at the Pentagon, they want Donald Trump to play president on TV and allow the administrative state to run the government. And this is the tension that is unfolding right in front of us, everybody. This is the game that is unfolding right in front of us. Which direction are we going to take? Will Donald Trump be able to fulfill the mandate, or are we going to go the way where Donald Trump is swallowed and enveloped and suffocated by an unelected, unaccountable fourth branch of government? Trump has the legitimacy to run the U.S. government. Now, mind you, when you defy a commander-in-chief, it could very well be treason. And now Trump has a mandate to take the reins of this fourth branch of government and to restore us back to our constitutional intent. But it is going to be a battle from the intel community, from the National Security Advisor to the National Security Agency. They're going to spy on Trump. They're going to listen to every single phone call Trump has. They're going to bug Trump's office. They're going to do all that stuff. And so from day one, we need to rip that thing down to first principles and anticipate that this is going to be a 15-round battle against the intel agencies. Remember what Chuck Schumer said. Let's get the Chuck Schumer clip. The intel agencies have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. And that's why these selections are so critically important. President Trump is off to a terrific start. Blake is with us. Blake, say hello to everybody. And
howdy,
so
Charlie.
Blake, talk about the profound constitutional importance of having a citizen-led military.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Charlie. It's going all the way back. One of the most important and underrated things that George Washington ever did was after he wins the Revolutionary War, he just resigns and he goes home. War's done. It was the Congress at the time. They were in control of the military. And that was one of the most important precedents that was set in the Constitution. The elected politician, civilian president is the explicit commander-in-chief of the armed forces. One of the most, we've repeatedly had that tested. During the Civil War, You would have these generals who would think Lincoln was an idiot. He didn't know what he was doing. You even had some insane ones who would say, like, things would be so much better if we had the military running Washington. It never happened. You had the senior generals who would shut this down, and they would say, we are fighting to have a civilian control of the military. And now we have these bureaucratic urchins in Washington they're literally saying, oh, what if he fires our career apolitical staffers? Well, as we've seen the last few years, one of the problems with the Pentagon is a lot of the apolitical people are not very apolitical. They have their own agendas. They think they have the right to set U.S. foreign policy, U.S. surveillance policy, U.S. military policy. They don't. The United States president gets to set those things. And if they're going to stand in the way of the U.S. president setting those things, they need to be shoved aside. And if they're going to try to resist him in any more formal manner, that's not just a matter of you should be fired. In some cases, it's going to be a matter of you should be court-martialed for it.
Let's play this tape here. Remember, this was Chuck Schumer right during the Trump transition. Everybody, the bad guys are trying to recreate 2017 all over again. They are trying to recreate where Donald Trump is not the elected sovereign president. And if we are not flawless, there is no margin of error for us to be able to thread this needle right into January 20th. Then the intel agency is going to win. It's the intel community right now that is plotting against Donald Trump. The NSA, the Central Intelligence Agency, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, they're leaving little landmines for Donald Trump all around the government right now. This is exactly what Dwight D. Eisenhower warned us of, and Donald Trump won a mandate to fight all of this, and it is going to be a battle. That's why all of you, yes, keep celebrating, and we're going to keep on enjoying this, but understand what is coming ahead of us, that the forces are being marshaled to try to subvert Donald Trump, undermine him, and prevent his presidency from getting started, to stop it right out of the gate. When you devote so much of your budget and your national attention to the defense industry, the powers inside that establishment calcify and get corrupted over decades. Play cut 365.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
That was a threat. And remember, they made good on that threat. Russiagate and the entrapment of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn 6 days into the first Trump administration was foreshadowed on that clip. Everyone, we have to be on our guard right now because the intel community is not just going to roll over and hand the keys to the kingdom of Donald Trump. There'll be little surprises left for every single Trump staffer. Blackmail files, listening on phone calls. That's why fulfilling the mandate is so critically important. And I'm not speculating. This is a CNN report of Pentagon officials saying we are going to undermine the president. That we're in charge, not you. The fight is just beginning, everybody. Can the military subvert and undermine the will of the American people? This is exactly what Dwight D. Eisenhower warned against. An unelected, technocratic, scientific elite. Is it we the people or we the bureaucrats? This is why, even though we do not have a president right now, we have Joe Biden, who's not a president, you don't really notice because Joe Biden's not running anything. He's just a ceremonial role who eats ice cream and sits on a beach. That's it. The real power is in the unelected. Play cuts 363 from CNN.
Look, I don't like this because what's Donald Trump supposed to think? You know, he's sitting down there, he's the president-elect, and now he's got to read in the newspaper tonight that the unelected bureaucracy of the federal government is having meetings at some level about how to thwart or countermand the commander-in-chief. If you were in his shoes and you just won the popular vote with a clear mandate and now you got to read that these unelected bureaucrats are plotting against you, what would you think? If
but
they
I think
have problems,
there's a reason
if
for
they
that,
have, let me finish.
Well, I agree that that's maybe not the best way to do it. However, Trump has set them up to be in this situation where they think that he's coming after them. And he's talked about using the military.
He's the president.
Yes.
Yes, but do you see that? That's Gretchen, who used to be on Fox News. Oh, he deserves it. He deserves to be undermined. He deserves to be leaked against, smeared. He deserves to have his orders not fulfilled. So who is the boss here? And by the way, if you don't like working for Donald Trump, then go resign. Just go resign. Go write your own book. But they have such disgust for not just Trump, but for the United States Constitution. Disgust for the fundamental premise of the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers set up a system of 3 co-equal branches of government. Not one is greater than the other. But Woodrow Wilson, over 100 years ago, started a different form of government, which was, as we call it, the administrative state, otherwise known as the deep state, where that a council of experts that went to the best schools who know better than you will be able to plan out the economy, plan out scientific affairs, plan out pandemic response, plan out education, plan out transportation, plan out your daily life. And that's how we got all these different departments. Department of Education, Department of Interior, Department of Homeland Security. So the departments are these expert class that are supposed to be running your world, your country. How have they done? Have they done a good job? The Trump mandate is that we're going to tear it all down, that the experts don't share your values, number one, and they're not even good at their job, number two. But they feel as if they are the sovereign. They believe that no matter what the American people think, they look at you as an annoyance. That's why they're okay with sending $200 billion to Ukraine and keeping tens of millions of people coming across the southern border illegally. Because they think of you as an annoyance. And what Trump is up against is a realignment that is greater than just politics. It's, can he change the form of government back to what the Founding Fathers designed? That is the Herculean effort of what the transition team is trying to do. That is the Herculean effort of what Donald Trump is trying to do, what he's trying to embark on. It's not just about being a great president and delivering for the American people. It's, for example, when the great Tom Homan gives an order and says, we're going to deport XYZ people who are murderers and rapists. What if someone decides not to follow the order? Oh, we don't like that. What if when Tom Homan says, we're going to get rid of catch and release? What if a bureaucrat says, I don't like that order? What you're talking about is the downfall and the disappearance of a citizen-led government. We have it coming back, though, and we have this opportunity. Donald Trump won. We won. We, the people, won. But I want you to be on guard, and this is going to take an hour-by-hour fight on this program and on our social media to make sure that what the people want, the people get. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. We're doing so much good work here at Turning Point USA. Also, get your tickets to AmFest. That's amfest.com, the biggest party of the year in Phoenix Convention Center. We have Tucker Carlson and really big speakers coming. I'll be there. It's going to be unbelievable. Meet your future husband, future wife. It's going to be great. Amfest.com, amfest.com. Get there. Go get the tickets. It's going to be amazing. And again, please subscribe and hit this bell. We appreciate it. And if you listen to audio podcasts, subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. That's Charlie Kirk Show podcast. We won, everybody. We won. I need to get this hat. Daisy, can you get me one of these hats? We won. And if you guys want a limited edition signed MAGA hat right here, last thing I'll say is become a member, members.charliekirk.com, to get a limited edition MAGA hat. We have 5,000 to send out, don't we, Daisy?
Over, like 8,000 now.
We have 8,000 hats I have to sign. 8,000 hats. God bless.